Have you ever felt like you've spent your entire life trying to be everything for everyone, and somewhere along the way, you quietly lost yourself? You kept saying yes when your heart whispered no, believing that your sacrifices would one day bring you the love and peace you longed for. But instead, a silent emptiness began to grow within you. What if this feeling isn't a sign that something is wrong with you, but a gentle awakening? What if the life you've been searching for doesn't begin when others finally understand you, but the moment you choose yourself? In this video, inspired by timeless Buddhist wisdom, you'll discover how this single decision can awaken your true path and transform your life from within. The moment you choose yourself is the moment you awaken. Choosing yourself is like opening your eyes after a very long sleep. For years, you may have been moving through life on autopilot, doing what was expected of you rather than what truly felt right for you. You may have said yes when your heart wanted to say no, stayed silent when you wished to speak, and followed paths that pleased others while quietly ignoring your own needs. Without even realizing it, you may have been living a life shaped more by fear, obligation, and the desire for approval than by your own truth. Awakening begins the moment you pause and gently ask yourself, what do I truly need? What brings peace to my heart? This simple yet powerful question marks the first step toward transformation. In Buddhist wisdom, this moment is known as awareness, the ability to see your life clearly without the fog of expectations or the pressure to please everyone. The Buddha taught that true freedom begins when we become mindful of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. When you choose yourself, you begin to live consciously instead of merely reacting to life. This awakening does not arrive with loud celebrations or dramatic changes. Instead, it unfolds quietly within you. It may feel like a gentle shift, a sense of clarity where confusion once existed. You start to recognize the difference between what you genuinely want and what you were conditioned to believe you should want. You realize that constantly sacrificing your well-being does not lead to lasting happiness, but rather to exhaustion and inner emptiness. As this awareness deepens, you begin to see your life with new eyes. You understand that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are precious. You no longer feel the need to earn your worth through constant giving or self-sacrifice. Instead, you start to honor your feelings and listen to the wisdom of your inner voice. This is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of profound self-respect and responsibility. In Buddhism, awakening is the first step toward liberation from suffering. It is the realization that peace does not come from controlling the outside world, but from understanding the mind within. When you choose yourself, you step onto a path of clarity and purpose. You begin making decisions that align with your values, nurturing a life that reflects who you truly are rather than who others expect you to be. You may notice subtle yet powerful changes. The constant noise of self-doubt begins to quiet. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become clearer. A gentle sense of peace starts to replace the inner conflict you once carried. You feel more present, more grounded, and more connected to your own existence. It is as if a light has been turned on within you, illuminating a path that was always there but remained unseen. Most importantly, you come to a profound realization. Your life is precious. It is not meant to be lived as a performance for others or as a series of obligations. Honoring your life is not a luxury reserved for a few. It is a responsibility that only you can fulfill. When you choose yourself, you are not turning away from others. You are strengthening your ability to live with authenticity, compassion, and wisdom. This moment of awakening is the beginning of everything. It is the gentle yet powerful turning point where you stop merely existing and start truly living. And from this sacred decision, every other transformation in your life begins to unfold. Releasing the weight of others' expectations liberates your soul. For much of your life, you may have carried an invisible burden, the weight of trying to live up to what others expected of you. Perhaps you felt the need to be the perfect child, the reliable friend, the understanding partner, or the person who never disappoints anyone. Slowly and quietly, these expectations began to shape your decisions, your behavior, and even your sense of identity. Without realizing it, you may have started living a life designed more by others' hopes than by your own inner truth. This weight is often subtle, yet deeply exhausting. It shows itself in the constant urge to seek approval, the fear of saying no, and the anxiety that arises when you imagine disappointing someone. You may have silenced your own desires to keep the peace, or followed paths that felt safe rather than meaningful. Over time, this creates a quiet distance between who you truly are and who you feel you must be. The result is not only emotional fatigue, but also a lingering sense that something within you has been left behind. In Buddhist wisdom, this suffering is rooted in attachment, the attachment to approval, acceptance, and the desire to control how others perceive us. The Buddha taught that clinging to such external validations binds the mind and prevents it from experiencing true freedom. When your happiness depends on meeting others' expectations, your peace becomes fragile, constantly shifting with their opinions and judgments. Releasing this weight begins with a gentle but powerful realization. You are not responsible for fulfilling everyone else's vision of who you should be. Each person carries their own hopes, fears, and projections, often shaped by their personal experiences. While their intentions may come from love or concern, living solely to satisfy these expectations means abandoning your own path. Choosing yourself requires the courage to honor your inner voice, even when it differs from what others anticipate. Letting go does not mean rejecting or disrespecting the people in your life. Instead, it means understanding that true love and respect cannot exist where authenticity is sacrificed. When you release the need to please everyone, you create space for more honest and meaningful relationships. You begin to interact with others from a place of sincerity rather than obligation, allowing connections to deepen naturally. As you start to free yourself from these expectations, you may initially feel fear or uncertainty. Questions like, "What will they think?" or "Will they still accept me?" may arise. This is a natural part of the transformation. With patience and mindfulness, these fears gradually fade, replaced by a growing sense of inner peace and self-trust. You begin to realize that your worth is not determined by how well you meet others' standards, but by how authentically you live your own truth. This liberation brings a profound lightness to your being. Decisions become clearer because they are guided by your values rather than by the pressure to conform. The constant tension between pleasing others and honoring yourself begins to dissolve. You feel more at ease, more grounded, and more aligned with the natural flow of your life. It is as if a heavy chain has been gently lifted from your heart, allowing your spirit to breathe freely for the first time. Buddhism teaches that true freedom arises when we release attachments that bind us to suffering. By letting go of others' expectations, you step into this freedom. You begin to understand that your life is a unique journey, not a role to be performed for an audience. Embracing this truth allows you to live with authenticity, compassion, and wisdom. Ultimately, releasing the weight of others' expectations is an act of deep self-respect and courage. It is a declaration that your life is meaningful and worthy of being lived in alignment with your true self. And as this burden falls away, your soul experiences a profound sense of liberation, opening the door to a life filled with peace, clarity, and genuine happiness. This is the moment when you stop merely existing for others and start truly living for the truth within you. And from this liberation, every other transformation in your life begins to unfold. When guilt fades, inner freedom begins to bloom. Guilt is one of the quietest yet heaviest emotions a person can carry. It often appears when you begin to choose yourself after years of putting others first. The moment you start setting boundaries, honoring your needs, or stepping away from situations that no longer serve your well-being, a small voice within may whisper, "Am I being selfish?" This feeling can be deeply unsettling, making you question decisions that are actually necessary for your growth and peace. For many people, guilt is not born from wrongdoing but from conditioning. You may have been taught that being a good person means always sacrificing your own needs, always saying yes, and always placing others before yourself. Over time, this belief becomes deeply rooted, creating the illusion that caring for yourself is somehow a betrayal of those you love. Yet, this is a misunderstanding of true compassion. In Buddhist wisdom, compassion is never meant to exclude oneself. The Buddha taught that all beings deserve kindness and understanding, and this includes you. When you neglect your own well-being in the name of selflessness, you create inner imbalance and suffering. True compassion is balanced. It nurtures both the self and others. When you begin to understand this, the guilt that once held you captive starts to lose its power. As guilt fades, something beautiful begins to emerge: inner freedom. You start to realize that honoring your needs does not diminish your love for others. Instead, it strengthens it. When you are emotionally and mentally at peace, you can offer kindness and support from a place of sincerity rather than obligation. Your relationships become more authentic because they are no longer driven by fear or the need for approval. This transformation often happens gradually. At first, you may still feel moments of doubt when you say no or choose a different path. However, with mindfulness and self-awareness, you begin to see these decisions not as acts of selfishness, but as expressions of self-respect. Each time you honor your truth, the weight of guilt becomes lighter, and a gentle sense of relief takes its place. Imagine a flower that has been unable to bloom because it was buried beneath heavy stones. Guilt is like those stones, pressing down on your spirit and preventing it from fully expressing its beauty. When these stones are gently removed, the flower naturally begins to open, reaching toward the light. In the same way, when guilt fades, your inner freedom begins to bloom. You feel lighter, more at peace, and more aligned with your true self. Buddhism teaches that suffering often arises from attachment to false beliefs, one of which is the idea that your worth depends on constant self-sacrifice. By releasing this belief, you step into a deeper understanding of yourself and the nature of compassion. You recognize that caring for your own well-being is not only necessary, but also essential for living a balanced and meaningful life. As this newfound freedom grows, you may notice subtle yet profound changes. Decisions become clearer because they are guided by inner wisdom rather than fear. Your mind feels calmer, no longer burdened by the need to justify every choice. You begin to trust yourself, embracing the understanding that your needs and feelings are valid. This trust becomes the foundation of a more peaceful and authentic life. Ultimately, when guilt fades, it creates space for joy, clarity, and self-acceptance. You realize that you are not responsible for carrying the emotional burdens of everyone around you. Instead, you are responsible for living your life with awareness, kindness, and integrity. This realization brings a deep sense of liberation, a freedom that allows you to live fully and love more genuinely. Inner freedom is not something you need to search for. It naturally arises when the barriers within you dissolve. By releasing guilt and embracing self-compassion, you allow your true nature to shine. And like a flower blooming after a long winter, your spirit begins to open, revealing the peace and beauty that were always present within you. This is the quiet miracle of choosing yourself. When guilt fades, your heart becomes lighter, your mind becomes clearer, and your life begins to unfold with grace and authenticity. From this moment of inner freedom, every step forward feels more aligned with who you truly are, allowing you to live with a sense of peace that gently touches every part of your existence. Your worth is inherent and untouched by the world's approval. For much of your life, you may have believed that your worth depended on how others saw you. Perhaps you felt valuable only when you were praised, accepted, or recognized. You may have tried to prove yourself by achieving more, giving more, or becoming the person you thought others wanted you to be. In moments of appreciation, you felt uplifted, yet when criticism or rejection appeared, your sense of value seemed to fade. This constant emotional rise and fall can be exhausting, leaving you feeling as though your worth is always uncertain and fragile. This belief is deeply rooted in the human desire for acceptance and belonging. From an early age, many of us are taught, often unintentionally, that love and approval must be earned. We learn to associate our value with our performance, appearance, or the expectations we fulfill. Over time, this conditioning creates the illusion that our worth is something granted by the world, rather than something that already exists within us. Buddhist wisdom gently reveals a different and profoundly liberating truth. Your worth is inherent. It is not something that can be increased by praise or diminished by criticism. Just as the sun continues to shine regardless of passing clouds, your intrinsic value remains constant, untouched by the changing opinions of others. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we attach our sense of identity to external conditions, which are impermanent and beyond our control. When your self-worth depends on such fleeting factors, it becomes unstable and vulnerable to every shift in the external world. Understanding the inherent nature of your worth brings a deep sense of stability and peace. You begin to realize that you do not need to constantly prove yourself or seek validation to justify your existence. Your value is not determined by how much you achieve, how perfectly you meet expectations, or how others perceive you. It is simply a part of your being, unchanging and ever-present. As this realization takes root, a gentle transformation begins within you. The fear of judgment gradually loses its power. You no longer feel compelled to shape your identity according to the opinions of others. Instead, you start to live with authenticity, guided by your own values and inner wisdom. This shift does not mean that you stop appreciating kindness or constructive feedback. Rather, it means that your sense of self is no longer dependent on them. Imagine a precious gem buried deep within the earth. Whether it is admired or overlooked, its value remains the same. In the same way, your worth does not fluctuate based on external recognition. When you truly understand this, you free yourself from the endless cycle of seeking approval. You begin to stand firmly in your own sense of self, experiencing a quiet confidence that is both gentle and unshakable. Buddhism also teaches the principle of impermanence, reminding us that praise and criticism are temporary and ever-changing. When you anchor your self-worth in something so unstable, you are bound to experience suffering. However, when you recognize that your value is inherent, you develop resilience and inner peace. You become less affected by external judgments and more connected to your true nature. This realization nurtures a profound sense of self-acceptance. You start to embrace your strengths and imperfections with compassion, understanding that both are natural aspects of being human. Instead of striving for perfection, you allow yourself to simply be. This acceptance opens the door to genuine happiness, as you are no longer chasing an unattainable standard set by others. Moreover, recognizing your inherent worth transforms your relationships. When you no longer seek validation, you engage with others from a place of authenticity rather than neediness. Your connections become more balanced and meaningful because they are grounded in mutual respect rather than dependency. You give and receive love freely, without the fear of losing your sense of self. Ultimately, Embracing the truth that your worth is inherent is a powerful step toward inner liberation. It allows you to live with dignity, confidence, and peace, regardless of external circumstances. You begin to understand that you are already enough, just as you are. There is nothing you need to prove and nothing you need to become to deserve love and respect. As you carry this awareness into your daily life, you may notice a gentle yet profound shift within you. The constant need for approval fades, replaced by a steady sense of inner security. You walk through life with greater ease, making choices that reflect your true self rather than the expectations of others. This is the quiet strength that arises when you recognize your inherent worth. In the end, the world's approval may come and go, but your value remains constant and unchanging. By embracing this truth, you free yourself from the limitations of external validation and step into a life of authenticity and peace. And in this realization, you discover a timeless and empowering truth. You have always been enough. Sacred boundaries. Honoring yourself with courage and compassion. There comes a moment on the journey of choosing yourself when you begin to realize that love and kindness must include you as well. For many years, you may have believed that being a good person meant always being available, always saying yes, and always placing the needs of others before your own. You may have feared that setting limits would disappoint people or make you seem selfish. As a result, you may have allowed others to cross emotional, mental, or even physical boundaries, slowly draining your energy and distancing you from your own sense of peace. Sacred boundaries are born from the understanding that your well-being is valuable and deserving of protection. They are not walls built to push people away, but gentle lines drawn with wisdom and self-respect. Boundaries communicate to others how you wish to be treated and what you need in order to live with balance and harmony. When you begin to honor these limits, you are not rejecting others, you are acknowledging your own worth. In Buddhist wisdom, living a peaceful life involves right understanding and right action, two essential elements of the Noble Eightfold Path. Setting boundaries reflects both. It requires awareness of what nurtures your inner peace and the courage to act in alignment with that understanding. When your actions are guided by mindfulness and compassion, boundaries become expressions of wisdom rather than acts of separation. Establishing boundaries often requires great courage. You may feel fear when you first begin to say no, especially if you are accustomed to seeking approval or avoiding conflict. There may be moments of discomfort as others adjust to this new version of you. Yet, with patience and mindfulness, you begin to see that true relationships are not weakened by boundaries, they are strengthened by them. When you communicate your needs with honesty and kindness, you create space for mutual respect and deeper understanding. Compassion plays a central role in this process. Sacred boundaries are not about anger or control. They are about love, love for yourself and for others. When you honor your limits, you prevent resentment from building within you. This allows you to give to others from a place of genuine care rather than obligation or exhaustion. In this way, boundaries nurture healthier and more authentic connections. Imagine a serene garden surrounded by a gentle fence. The fence does not exist to isolate the garden, but to protect it, allowing the flowers within to grow and flourish. Similarly, your boundaries safeguard your emotional and spiritual well-being, creating an environment where your true self can thrive. Without these protections, your energy may be scattered and your inner peace may be compromised. As you begin to practice setting boundaries, you may notice subtle yet powerful transformations within yourself. A sense of clarity replaces confusion, and self-respect grows stronger with each decision that honors your well-being. You start to trust your inner voice, recognizing it as a source of wisdom rather than doubt. This trust becomes the foundation for a life lived with authenticity and balance. Buddhism teaches the importance of the middle path, a way of living that avoids both self-indulgence and self-neglect. Sacred boundaries embody this principle by encouraging a balanced approach to relationships and responsibilities. They remind you that caring for yourself is not in conflict with caring for others. Rather, it enhances your ability to do so with sincerity and presence. Over time, the fear associated with setting boundaries begins to fade, replaced by a gentle confidence. You realize that you are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions or expectations. Instead, you are responsible for honoring your own truth while treating others with kindness and respect. This realization brings a profound sense of liberation and inner peace. Ultimately, sacred boundaries are an act of deep self-love and wisdom. They affirm that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are precious. By honoring these limits with courage and compassion, you create a life that reflects balance, authenticity, and harmony. You begin to experience relationships that are based not on obligation, but on mutual respect and genuine connection. As you continue on this path, remember that setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice of mindfulness and self-awareness. Each time you honor your needs with kindness and clarity, you strengthen your connection to your true self. And in doing so, you cultivate a life filled with peace, dignity, and meaningful relationships. This is the quiet power of sacred boundaries. They do not separate you from the world. They allow you to engage with it more authentically. By honoring yourself with courage and compassion, you create the space for your spirit to flourish. And from this space, every aspect of your life begins to transform. Solitude transforms into a sanctuary for healing and self-discovery. There was a time when being alone may have felt uncomfortable, even frightening. Silence might have seemed heavy, and solitude may have appeared as a reminder of what was missing in your life. You may have filled every quiet moment with distractions, conversations, noise, social media, or constant activity simply to avoid facing the stillness within. Many people associate solitude with loneliness, believing that being alone means being disconnected or unloved. But as you begin the journey of choosing yourself, your relationship with solitude gently transforms. What once felt like emptiness starts to reveal itself as a sacred space, a sanctuary where healing and self-discovery can unfold. In Buddhist wisdom, solitude is not seen as isolation, but as an opportunity to reconnect with the true nature of the mind. It is within silence that clarity arises, and it is within stillness that the heart begins to heal. When you allow yourself to sit quietly with your thoughts and emotions, you create space to understand experiences that may have been ignored or suppressed. Feelings that once seemed overwhelming begin to soften when met with awareness and compassion. Instead of running from your inner world, you start to listen to it with patience and kindness. This gentle attention becomes the first step toward emotional healing. Solitude also offers the gift of self-discovery. Without the constant influence of others' opinions and expectations, you begin to hear your own inner voice more clearly. You start to recognize what truly brings you joy, what aligns with your values, and what no longer serves your well-being. This clarity allows you to make decisions that reflect your authentic self, rather than the roles you once felt compelled to play. In Buddhism, meditation is a powerful practice that embodies the essence of this sacred solitude. Through mindful awareness, you learn to observe your thoughts without judgment and to experience the present moment with acceptance. As the mind gradually settles, a deep sense of peace emerges, a peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. This inner stillness becomes a refuge, a place you can return to whenever life feels overwhelming. As solitude transforms into a sanctuary, you may notice subtle yet profound changes within yourself. The fear of being alone begins to fade, replaced by a sense of comfort and companionship. with your own presence. You start to appreciate moments of silence as opportunities for reflection and renewal. Instead of seeking constant validation or distraction, you find fulfillment in simply being. This transformation also nurtures emotional resilience. When you become comfortable with solitude, you no longer rely on others to fill the void within. Relationships become healthier and more balanced because they are built on genuine connection rather than dependency. You engage with others from a place of wholeness, sharing your life rather than seeking someone to complete it. Imagine a peaceful temple nestled within a quiet forest. Protected from the noise of the outside world, it offers a space for reflection, healing, and spiritual growth. In the same way, solitude becomes your inner temple, a sanctuary where you can rest, restore your energy, and reconnect with your true essence. Within this sacred space, you rediscover the strength and wisdom that have always resided within you. Buddhist teachings remind us that everything in life is impermanent, including feelings of loneliness and discomfort. By embracing solitude with mindfulness, you learn to observe these emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Over time, they give way to a deeper sense of peace and contentment. You realize that being alone does not mean being incomplete. Rather, it is an opportunity to experience the fullness of your own existence. Ultimately, the transformation of solitude into a sanctuary marks a significant step on the path of inner awakening. It is a reminder that the peace you seek has never been outside of you. By embracing moments of stillness and reflection, you cultivate a profound connection with yourself, one that nurtures healing, clarity, and personal growth. As you continue this journey, remember that solitude is not a sign of separation from the world, but a gateway to deeper understanding and harmony. It is within this sacred space that you come to know yourself more intimately, allowing your true nature to shine with quiet confidence and grace. In the gentle embrace of solitude, you discover that you are never truly alone. You are accompanied by your own awareness, compassion, and wisdom. And from this sanctuary of inner peace, every aspect of your life begins to transform, guiding you toward a future filled with authenticity, balance, and lasting serenity. Freedom emerges when you detach from the need for approval. For much of your life, you may have felt an unspoken pressure to be liked, accepted, and appreciated by others. Perhaps you carefully chose your words to avoid criticism, adjusted your behavior to meet expectations, or held back your true feelings out of fear of rejection. This quiet desire for approval can shape many of your decisions, often without you even realizing it. While the wish to be accepted is natural, relying on it for your sense of worth can quietly take away your inner peace. Living with the constant need for approval is like carrying an invisible chain. Each compliment may lift your spirits, while each criticism can deeply unsettle you. Your happiness begins to depend on something that is always changing the opinions of others. This creates a cycle of anxiety and self-doubt, where you may find yourself continually seeking reassurance, wondering if you are good enough, or fearing that a single mistake might lead to rejection. Buddhist wisdom gently reveals that this attachment to approval is a source of suffering. The Buddha taught that clinging to external validation keeps the mind restless and prevents it from experiencing true freedom. Approval and disapproval are part of what Buddhism refers to as the 8 worldly winds: gain and loss, praise and blame, fame and disrepute, pleasure and pain. These forces are constantly shifting, and when your sense of self is tied to them, your peace becomes unstable. Detaching from the need for approval does not mean becoming indifferent to others or rejecting their perspectives. Instead, it means freeing yourself from dependence on their judgments. It is about recognizing that your worth is not determined by how others perceive you. When you release this attachment, you begin to live from a place of authenticity, guided by your own values and inner wisdom, rather than by the desire to please everyone. This transformation often begins with a simple yet powerful realization: you cannot control how others think or feel. Every person views the world through the lens of their own experiences, beliefs, and expectations. Trying to gain universal approval is not only exhausting, but also impossible. When you accept this truth, a profound sense of relief begins to emerge. You no longer feel the need to shape your identity to fit every situation or person. As you detach from the need for approval, you may initially experience moments of uncertainty. The familiar habit of seeking validation may still arise, and stepping away from it can feel uncomfortable at first. However, with mindfulness and patience, you start to notice the freedom that comes with this shift. Decisions become clearer because they are based on what feels true to you, not on what you think others want. You begin to trust your inner voice, allowing it to guide your actions with confidence and clarity. This newfound freedom also transforms your relationships. When you no longer seek approval, your interactions become more genuine and balanced. You express yourself with honesty and kindness, without the hidden agenda of being liked or accepted. This authenticity fosters deeper and more meaningful connections, as others are able to relate to the real you rather than to a carefully constructed image. Imagine a bird that has spent its entire life inside a cage, believing that the cage was necessary for its survival. The moment the door is opened, the bird may hesitate, uncertain of the vast sky before it. Yet once it gathers the courage to fly, it discovers a freedom far greater than anything it had known. In the same way, detaching from the need for approval allows your spirit to soar, unburdened by the limitations of external validation. Buddhism teaches that true freedom arises from understanding the impermanent nature of all external conditions. Praise and criticism will always come and go, but when you anchor your sense of self within, you remain steady amidst these changes. This inner stability brings a deep sense of peace and resilience, enabling you to navigate life with grace and equanimity. As this detachment deepens, you may notice subtle yet profound changes within yourself. The fear of judgment begins to fade, replaced by a gentle confidence. You feel more at ease in your own presence, no longer needing constant reassurance from others. Your actions become expressions of your true self, rather than attempts to gain approval. This shift allows you to live with integrity, authenticity, and inner harmony. Ultimately, detaching from the need for approval is not about isolating yourself from others, but about reconnecting with your own essence. It is a journey from dependency to self-trust, from fear to freedom. By releasing this attachment, you step into a life where your peace is no longer dictated by the changing opinions of the world. This is the quiet liberation that Buddhism points toward, a state of being where you remain centered and calm, regardless of external praise or criticism. And as you embrace this freedom, you discover that the acceptance you once sought from others has always existed within you. When you no longer seek approval to validate your existence, you begin to live with a profound sense of inner peace. Your life becomes an authentic expression of who you truly are, and from this place of freedom, everything begins to change. Living authentically aligns you with your true path. There comes a moment in life when you begin to sense that the path you have been walking does not truly belong to you. On the surface, everything may appear fine. You may be fulfilling responsibilities, meeting expectations, and doing what seems right. Yet deep within, there is often a quiet feeling that something is missing. It is a gentle whisper from your heart, reminding you that you were never meant to live as a reflection of others' expectations, but as an expression of your own true nature. Living authentically means honoring who you truly are, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. For many years, you may have shaped your identity around what others expected, choosing certain paths to gain approval, suppressing your true feelings to avoid conflict, or ignoring your inner desires to maintain harmony. Over time, this can create a sense of disconnection from your own life, as if you are merely playing a role rather than genuinely living. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering often arises from this very disconnection. When we live out of alignment with our true nature, the mind becomes restless and dissatisfied. The Buddha emphasized the importance of right intention and right livelihood, elements of the Noble Eightfold Path that encourage living in harmony with one's values and inner truth. Authentic living is not about perfection. It is about alignment, bringing your thoughts, words, and actions into harmony with who you truly are. The journey toward authenticity begins with self-awareness. It requires the courage to pause and ask yourself meaningful questions. What truly brings me peace? What values guide my heart? What kind of life feels genuinely meaningful to me? These questions open the door to deeper understanding and allow you to reconnect with the essence of your being. As you listen to your inner voice, you begin to recognize the difference between choices made out of fear and those made from a place of truth. At first, embracing authenticity may feel challenging. There may be fears of judgment, rejection, or uncertainty about the future. You might worry about disappointing others or stepping into unfamiliar territory. However, with mindfulness and compassion, these fears gradually lose their intensity. You come to realize that living authentically is not about opposing others, but about honoring your own journey with honesty and integrity. As you begin to align with your true path, life starts to feel more harmonious and meaningful. Decisions become clearer because they are guided by your values rather than by external pressures. You experience a sense of inner coherence where your actions reflect your deepest beliefs. This alignment brings a quiet confidence and peace that cannot be achieved through external validation. Imagine a river flowing effortlessly toward the ocean. When it follows its natural course, it moves with grace and ease. But when it is forced to change direction, it encounters resistance and turbulence. In the same way, living authentically allows your life to flow naturally, while living inauthentically creates inner conflict and dissatisfaction. By choosing authenticity, you allow yourself to move with the rhythm of your true nature. Living authentically also transforms your relationships. When you express yourself honestly and openly, you invite deeper and more meaningful connections. Others are able to relate to the real you rather than to a version shaped by expectations. While some relationships may change as you step into your truth, those that remain will be grounded in mutual respect and genuine understanding. Buddhism reminds us that each person's journey is unique. There is no single path that fits everyone. By embracing your authenticity, you honor this uniqueness and allow your life to unfold in a way that is true to your essence. This alignment with your true path fosters a profound sense of purpose and fulfillment, guiding you toward experiences and opportunities that resonate with your inner self. As this transformation deepens, you may notice subtle yet powerful shifts within you. The inner conflict that once accompanied your decisions begins to dissolve. A sense of peace replaces the need for constant reassurance. You start to trust the wisdom of your heart, knowing that it leads you toward a life of meaning and balance. This trust becomes a steady foundation upon which you can build a life that feels genuinely your own. Ultimately, living authentically is an act of self-respect and courage. It is the willingness to honor your truth even when it requires stepping beyond familiar boundaries. By aligning your life with your true path, you create a sense of harmony that touches every aspect of your existence. You no longer feel as though you are searching for meaning. Instead, you realize that meaning emerges naturally when you live in accordance with your authentic self. This is the quiet beauty of authenticity. It brings you home to yourself. And when you walk your true path with awareness and compassion, life begins to unfold with a sense of ease, purpose, and deep inner peace. From this alignment, everything begins to change, guiding you toward a future that reflects the truth of who you have always been. Self-compassion awakens a deeper love for all beings. There are moments in life when you may find it easier to be kind to others than to yourself. You may offer understanding, patience, and forgiveness to those around you, yet speak to yourself with harsh judgment and criticism. Perhaps you replay past mistakes in your mind, wishing you had acted differently, or hold yourself to impossible standards of perfection. Over time, this inner harshness creates a quiet distance between you and your own heart, leaving you feeling unworthy or incomplete. Self-compassion begins when you gently recognize that you, too, deserve the same kindness you so freely give to others. It is the simple yet profound act of treating yourself with understanding, especially during moments of pain, failure, or uncertainty. In Buddhist wisdom, this quality is deeply connected to metta, or loving kindness, the unconditional goodwill that extends to all beings, including yourself. The Buddha taught that true compassion cannot flourish outwardly unless it first takes root within. Many people mistakenly believe that self-compassion is a sign of weakness or self-indulgence. In reality, it is a source of immense inner strength. When you approach your own struggles with gentleness rather than judgment, you create a safe space for healing and growth. Instead of being trapped by guilt or shame, you begin to understand your experiences with wisdom and patience. This shift allows you to learn from the past without being defined by it. Imagine a dear friend coming to you with a heavy heart, sharing their fears and mistakes. You would likely respond with empathy, reassurance, and encouragement. Self-compassion invites you to offer that same warmth and understanding to yourself. It is the realization that being human means being imperfect, and that these imperfections are not flaws to be condemned, but opportunities for learning and transformation. As you cultivate self-compassion, a gentle transformation unfolds within you. The inner voice that once criticized and doubted you begins to soften. Feelings of shame and inadequacy gradually give way to acceptance and peace. You start to see yourself with greater clarity, recognizing both your strengths and your vulnerabilities with equal kindness. This balanced perspective nurtures emotional resilience and fosters a deeper sense of self-worth. Buddhism teaches that all beings are interconnected and that compassion is the bridge that unites us. When you learn to extend compassion toward yourself, your capacity to love others naturally expands. You become more patient, more understanding, and more empathetic in your relationships. Rather than reacting with judgment or frustration, you respond with wisdom and kindness, recognizing that others, like you, are navigating their own struggles and imperfections. Self-compassion also frees you from the burden of perfectionism. Instead of striving to meet unrealistic expectations, you begin to embrace your authentic self. You understand that growth is a gradual process and that every step, even those marked by mistakes, contributes to your journey. This acceptance allows you to move forward with confidence and courage, unafraid of failure or judgment. Practicing self-compassion can take many gentle forms. It may involve speaking to yourself with kindness during difficult moments, allowing yourself to rest when you feel overwhelmed, or simply acknowledging your emotions without resistance. Through mindfulness and meditation, you can cultivate an inner environment of warmth and acceptance, creating a sanctuary where healing can naturally occur. As this practice deepens, you may notice profound changes in how you experience the world. Your relationships become more harmonious as you approach others with genuine empathy and understanding. Conflicts are met with patience rather than defensiveness, and acts of kindness flow more effortlessly from your heart. This ripple effect of compassion extends beyond your immediate circle, contributing to a more peaceful and connected world. Ultimately, self-compassion is not merely an act of kindness toward yourself. It is the foundation of universal love. By embracing your own humanity with tenderness and acceptance, you awaken a deeper love that naturally encompasses all beings. You come to realize that the same longing for happiness and freedom from suffering exists in everyone, creating a profound sense of unity and shared experience. In this awakening, you discover that love is not something to be earned or withheld. It is a natural expression of an open and compassionate heart. And as you nurture this love within yourself, it radiates outward, touching the lives of others in ways both subtle and profound. This is the quiet miracle of self-compassion. By learning to hold yourself with kindness, you open the door to a deeper and more expansive love for all beings. From this place of warmth and understanding, your life becomes a reflection of the very peace and compassion that Buddhism seeks to cultivate in the world. Choosing yourself is the first step toward lasting inner liberation. There comes a profound moment in life when you realize that everything you have been searching for, peace, acceptance, and a sense of belonging, has never existed outside of you. For years, you may have believed that happiness would arrive once certain conditions were met. When others finally understood you, when you achieved enough, or when life unfolded exactly as you had hoped. Yet, despite these efforts, a quiet longing often remained, gently reminding you that something deeper was missing. Choosing yourself is the moment you step beyond this illusion. It is the realization that true freedom does not depend on external circumstances, but arises from within. In Buddhist wisdom, this marks the beginning of inner liberation, a state of being where the mind is no longer bound by attachment, fear, or the constant need for validation. It is not a dramatic escape from the world, but a gentle awakening to the truth that peace is already present within you. For much of your life, you may have lived according to expectations shaped by society, family, or past experiences. You may have silenced your own needs to maintain harmony, sought approval to feel worthy, or held on to relationships and identities that no longer reflected your true self. These patterns, though often unconscious, can create invisible chains that limit your freedom. Choosing yourself is the courageous act of recognizing these chains and gently releasing them. This decision is not about rejecting others or withdrawing from the world. Instead, it is about returning to your authentic essence. When you choose yourself, you begin to honor your inner voice, trust your intuition, and live in alignment with your deepest values. This alignment brings a sense of clarity and peace that cannot be shaken by the ever-changing conditions of life. In Buddhism, liberation, often referred to as nirvana, is the freedom from suffering that arises when we release attachment and awaken to the true nature of reality. While this ultimate state may seem distant, every act of self-awareness and self-respect is a step toward it. Choosing yourself is the beginning of this sacred journey. It is the moment you stop seeking fulfillment in the external world and start cultivating it within your own heart. As you embark on this path, transformation unfolds gradually. You may notice that the fears and doubts that once dominated your thoughts begin to lose their intensity. The need to control every outcome softens, replaced by a sense of trust in the natural flow of life. You become more present, more mindful, and more accepting of both joy and hardship. This inner stability allows you to navigate life with grace and resilience. One of the most beautiful aspects of this liberation is the sense of lightness it brings. When you are no longer burdened by the need to prove yourself or meet unrealistic expectations, your heart feels free. Decisions become simpler because they are guided by authenticity rather than by fear. Relationships become more meaningful as they are rooted in mutual respect and genuine connection rather than dependency or obligation. Imagine a bird that has spent its entire life inside a cage, unaware that the door was never truly locked. The moment it realizes its freedom, it hesitates, uncertain of what lies beyond the familiar boundaries. Yet once it gathers the courage to step forward, it discovers the vastness of the open sky. In the same way, choosing yourself is the realization that the limitations you once believed in were never absolute. With each step toward authenticity and self-compassion, you begin to experience the expansive freedom that has always been available to you. This journey also deepens your capacity for compassion and wisdom. As you free yourself from inner suffering, you naturally become a source of peace and understanding for others. Your presence alone can inspire those around you to seek their own path of healing and authenticity. In this way, choosing yourself does not distance you from the world. It enables you to contribute to it with greater love and clarity. Buddhist teachings remind us that liberation is not a destination, but an ongoing process of awakening. Each mindful choice, each moment of self-respect, and each act of compassion brings you closer to a state of inner freedom. Even small steps such as listening to your intuition, setting healthy boundaries, or embracing solitude carry profound significance on this path. As you continue this journey, you may come to a gentle yet powerful realization. You were never meant to live a life defined by fear, obligation, or the expectations of others. You were meant to live with awareness, authenticity, and peace. Choosing yourself is the sacred beginning of this transformation, a declaration that your life is worthy of being lived fully and consciously. Lasting inner liberation is not about escaping the world, but about experiencing it with a free and open heart. It is the quiet confidence that arises when you know who you are and live in harmony with that truth. It is the peace that remains steady amidst life's uncertainties and the joy that emerges from simply being present. As this realization settles within you, you may feel a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that brought you to this moment. Every challenge, every lesson, and every step of growth has guided you toward this awakening. And now, standing at the threshold of inner freedom, you understand that the most important choice you will ever make is the choice to honor your own existence. Choosing yourself is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a life lived with clarity, compassion, and profound peace. From this sacred decision, lasting inner liberation unfolds, illuminating your path and allowing you to experience the true essence of freedom that has always resided within you. And now, as you reach the end of this journey, take a quiet moment and simply breathe. Reflect on everything you've carried for so long, the expectations, the guilt, the need for approval, the silent sacrifices. For years, you may have believed that your purpose was to live for others, to fit into roles that slowly pulled you away from your true self. But today, something within you has shifted. Today, you remembered who you truly are. Choosing yourself is not a loud or dramatic act. It is a gentle return, a sacred homecoming to your own heart. It is the moment you stop asking the world for permission to exist and begin honoring the life that has always been yours. From this choice, a quiet transformation begins. Your mind softens, your heart feels lighter, and the path ahead becomes clearer. Remember, you were never meant to lose yourself in order to be loved. You were never meant to shrink to fit into the expectations of others. Your worth has always been complete, your presence always meaningful, and your voice always deserving of being heard. The peace you have been searching for was never outside of you. It has been patiently waiting within, ready to emerge the moment you chose to embrace it. As you move forward from this moment, carry this truth gently within you. Every time you honor your needs, every time you listen to your inner voice, and every time you treat yourself with kindness, you are walking the path of awakening. This journey will not always be easy, but it will always be authentic, and that authenticity will guide you toward a life of deeper peace and fulfillment. Imagine yourself like a lotus rising from still waters. Despite the mud and darkness below, it blooms with quiet strength and grace. In the same way, your decision to choose yourself allows your true nature to unfold beautiful, resilient, and free. So, as this message comes to a close, let it not be an ending but a beginning of living with awareness, of loving yourself with compassion, and of embracing the freedom that comes from being true to who you are. You are not lost. You are not behind. And you are certainly not alone. You are awakening. And from the day you choose yourself, everything truly begins to change.